think they can compete. So why wouldn't Hurdle and Huntington come out and say, we're here to try to win. We think we can win the division.
Again, what are you going to say? Now, granted, if you don't believe that they put out the best product out that they could in order to win, that's something that you can definitely talk about. We definitely have. But I would not expect him to come out and say, well, we're hoping to be good, and then if something clicks, we'll go from there. I expect you to say, I think we can win. At least justify why you didn't spend money. It's because, we don't need to, because I think what we have here is good enough. All right, good. I hope you do. Well, I don't, but I hope you do.
Right.
And then again, what are you expecting him to say? If he came out and said, well, I was only given $70 million, and because of that, this is the best I could do. Is that possibly true? It probably
would
is.
he possibly be out of a job?
If he comes out and says that shit, yeah, he has no job. Now the players look at him like, bro, are you for real?
Yeah.
And the same thing is, you have 25 guys on a team. Them 25 guys need to feel like they belong. I mean, if you're saying, no, this isn't good, then everyone's looking like, so who is it? Is it me? Yeah. Do I not belong here? Am I not good enough? Am I being replaced? Again, I understand and fully agree with him saying what he's saying.
Yeah, even if you thought you had, legitimately thought you had, one of the worst teams in baseball, you can't come out and say, man, these guys just ain't any good. This is the only thing I could do on this payroll. Number one, like you said, you're going to lose the respect of the team. You're going to probably be out of a job because your owner's going to fire you. It's
and no one else is hiring you because, you're rogue, who knows? You can't trust you. You're not a company man.
Especially Hurdle. Hurdle's in that position. He came in and it was all, he changed the culture of this team. And everybody said that from 2013 and on that he did. He changed the culture and they were winning. He's got to put that belief in these guys to say, hey, we think you can win. We think you can do this. And here's the actual quote from Hurdle. So they must have asked him just kind of what the feeling around camp was. And he said, there's more of a feeling that we're about to do something special. This club right here, I really believe, again, we've got the work to do, and we're going to go out and roll up our sleeves, and our intent is to win our division. If you win your division, that puts you in a pretty good place. I love the fact that there's a hunger in there, and it's real for all the right reasons. And I really like our pitching. Me too. And if you've got good pitching, you put yourself in really good position. So that's what he said, and Huntington echoed that, obviously. But what are they supposed to say? Hurdle show up, hey, what do you think about this team? Well, if Josh Bell hits 50 home runs, we might be all right.
But God, do we need him to do it? Because if not, we don't have a career.
I know, it's
right, exactly. Now the other 24 guys look at you like you don't believe in us. Now you've lost the team.
Right,
exactly. Some people make this out to be even more than it is. But yeah.
And it does. It cracks.
They're going to say that.
It cracks me up, and I know these people are probably going to just shit on any quote that comes out, but it's what do you want these guys to say? It's he came out and said that he's not going to have a job. If Huntington came out and said, well, our shit owner only gave me $70 million to spend, so what was I supposed to do? I had to dump Nova to be able to sign Chisenhall. He's not going to have a job for the next day. It's just,
nope.
And there's only 30.
He's an excuse man.
There's only 30 MLB GMs around there, and look, Dave Littlefield's still around in the winter meetings trying to get another job,
and he's starving for a job. So don't give
right.
him the ability to come back.
So it cracks me up. You see these quotes, and we're going to see more.
God, he was almost a Mets GM. Think about that.
Yeah, but especially you were above 500 last year. Most of your guys are all coming back. You would have to think the next step would be to compete for the division, right? This isn't an unheard of comment. It's just, there's still people in Pittsburgh, the Yinzers, that some of them still think that they lost 100 games last year when they won 82 and had a winning season. So it's it just kills me.
Yeah.
And
yeah. And that's the thing, too, how you're saying about, nobody's going to come out and say, we're off or whatever. The thing is, there's different tones, and some organizations understand where they're at. Take the White Sox, take the Marlins. No one's really coming out and saying, well, our goal is to compete. Their goal is to get better.
Right.
Right? And you understand, they're clearly rebuilding, and everyone knows that. So if you're Neal Walker signed there, you're signed because you're going to be a veteran leader, and show the guys the ropes, and do whatever, and hopefully become a trade chip for the Marlins at the deadline. But, you're not there to win a championship. It's understood in that. But, like, this culture, this environment is not a rebuilding one. This one is, we need to build upon it to win. And if you didn't do that, like where we stand, I mean, you and I still feel there's improvements that need to be made. But regardless if you did it or not, you're not coming out there and saying, well, we're here just to get better. That's not good enough for the club. It's not good enough for the fans at this point. Like, no one's looking at this saying that we're just trying to get better and improve through this rebuild. That's done.
Right.
You're here to win now. So, again, you're going to come out and say, with whatever you have, we feel good and we feel we can win. So, good for you. You should be saying those things.
Right. Now, like, if Derek...
I would have more of an issue if Huntington didn't come out and say that.
If he just came out and did the... Like you said, if he just came out and was like, we're another year, whatever, like, we'll see where it goes.
Right.
Like, any team can get hot. Like, look, if Derek Jeter comes out and says, we're going to win the division this year, I mean, okay, that's, you might have some stray eyes.
Like,
what is that about? Like, but come on. We're not in that position.
Right.
So, they made their moves last year at the deadline, and that's what they feel, and they're going to ride that. And, and I kind of wanted to take,
they should.
What's that?
No, I just said, they should.
And just Huntington's quote was, just kind of echoing Hurdle's, and he said, championship teams are based typically around starting pitching, and you win the games you're supposed to win because of your back end. So, kind of segmenting that, Bernardo, I kind of wanted to just real briefly, like, talk about that pitching and the fact of, and the Pacoda projections that came out that had the Cubs in last place. But we're starting to see a little bit of love around at least MLB for the Pirates rotation. If you saw the article that they sent out with the headline, there's a little bit of quick clickbait here, but it was, does the Pirates have the top rotation in the NL Central? And it got its laughs and everything from all the quotes and stuff in there.
Much like, is Jordy Mercer the worst shortstop in baseball?
Right. So
I know all.
So
about
it's like
clickbait.
Somebody else is kind of seeing it that, hey, the Pirates at least top 4 is looking pretty dang good in the rotation. So MLB had sent that out about do they have the best rotation, which. I mean, we talked about this, I think, early in the offseason. I think so. Now, the Cubs are paying, I think, $85 million for their rotation, but I don't think that necessarily means they're better. I think the Cubs might end up with the third or fourth.
Money doesn't mean that you're better.
Right, I think the Cubs might. I mean, the Cubs' rotation could be disastrous if, the injuries and the age of everybody doesn't hold up, but...
There's so much risk in that. That's the thing. I mean, the Cubs, could they be better than ours? They absolutely can. And we talked about that
on
earlier
paper,
too.
sure.
I mean, they absolutely can be better than the Pirates. Paper, The thing is, there's so much risk involved to that the chances of it happening seem very slim, because chances are Quintana's not going to put it together. He's still going to be the Cubs Quintana, which is a very average, a very Nova-ish pitcher. Lester is getting old, and he showed some really, really poor performance last year.
Hamels.
I mean, do you trust that after the deadline coming back? And he's getting paid, $20 million?
Yeah, $20 million.
Come on, bro. In this offseason, you gave him $20 million.
And he was bad.
You picked up that option?
He was bad for 2 years, and he's going to be 35. So, Cole, I know. They could have got a starter for what? Corbin.
Right. Hamels could have practically got a minor league deal at this point in time, it seems.
Right. So, the Cubs could end up having the third or fourth, best rotation, but in the division. So, so we saw that come out, and then the Pacoda projections released, which the Pirates were 81 and 81. So I don't know. I guess Melky Cabrera's minor league signing added them a win or something, but the Cubs, Bernardo, 80 and 82 in dead last. So what do you think about that?
You've gone from being the top in Cincinnati to the bottom, and now Cincy's better than you?
That is surprising. I mean, the Cubs did win, what was it, 95, 90? What did they win that?
94, I think. Was it 95? Either way, we're splitting a game. I mean, 94, it's mid-90s.
It was 95.
Okay.
Because, and then they played them.
That was the big argument.
That's right. It was 95. But no, so 95 to 80, I mean, sure, it's, it could happen, but they didn't really lose too much. But like you said, there's a lot of risk there. They got a year older.
Guys are getting
and,
older.
Jason Hayward still
they
isn't
traded
good.
away all their prospects.
Hayward still isn't good.
Right.
So yeah, but it was kind of funny. So we had some fun with some Cubs fans and Nugent especially when that Pracoda projection came out. But Pracoda's been pretty. They've been one of the top, I guess, as far as win-loss predictions. I don't know about too much of their player predictions, but their win-loss predictions have been fairly accurate. In kind of a not really like year to year, but in a 2-3 year span, sure. But they basically projected the whole division to from first to last. Like it separates it by 8 games, I think.
Oh yeah, I mean this is definitely gonna be a tough division. And the thing is, like, this goes back to way before we even had a podcast, a site, whatever. You and I think talked about this. I mean, we talked about the realignment. It's like, God, can the Pirates catch like a break? Like, there needs to be a realignment because this division's so good. And I was the one, like, I love it. Like, I loved how good the division was because baseball was every night it was great to watch. Would you rather be in the NL Central or like the AL Central? Be the Indians and just wrapping it up. I mean, I guess it's good if you're in the AL Central, if you're the Pirates, like the Indians, and just clean up and know you're going to the playoffs. Right. But I don't know, man. There's something like that mystique. I mean, it's such a good division. Every game means something. You're invested the whole year. I love it. It's just good baseball. Like the NL East, man, I'm just looking forward to all those games too. And I'll be able to catch a lot of them, except they'll be playing the Marlins, which means, the other teams can win. But at least I'm catching a lot of those teams play. Right. But yeah, like I love the fact that the NL Central is good again. And it's top to bottom. I mean, just everyone is solid to above solid. No one stands out. Like, no one looks like the Red Sox or Yankees or such, but everyone just looks good.
Yeah, and I mean, we both think the Brewers are going to come back down to earth a little bit, obviously. Pacoda thinks the Cubs are coming way back down. There's obviously a lot of improvement from the Reds have been projected, with all the moves they made. And yeah, the Pirates haven't made any moves, but they were 82 wins last year, and they get a full year of Archer and Kella and everything, so that you have to factor that in as well. And so we'll see. I don't know, man. And then the Cardinals will end up winning 90 probably. So
let me just put something out there. I know this is way off script too, and then this isn't a full out thought either, but this kind of goes to way back. Again, we talk this over and over again. The whole thought of, would you rather just go all in or be good, for like 3 years, or just be good for hopefully like a decade or something? And that's almost like, that's the Cubs right now. And we're talking about the downfall of the Cubs already. Like, they just won a World Series not too long ago. We were just talking about the Cubs, how good they are, how good they're going to be for so long. And like, think about this. They're already on that down slide. And what if they had Gleyber Torres right now? And then what if Eloy Jimenez is making his debut in that outfield right now, and you still have Dylan Cease? Like, you could still be seeing a really good Cubs team. And if they didn't win that year, they still have bullets to reload with, and they're still good. They still have those chances. So, I know they got that chip, that they got the ring, but I guess that's just that cost. It's like they still could be good. They still might have the ability to catch another ring right now, and I just don't see it anymore.
Flags fly forever, as Wagner to Kutch would say.
I get it, and I guess it just comes down to like where you are, and I'm more of that person that just wants to have like sustained success. Even though rather than blowing my load and walking away.
Blowing your load. Even though Rajay Davis almost kept them from that flag flying.
True.
But I mean, let's not say the Cubs are still good. I mean, they're still very, obviously competitive in that window.
Yeah, they're good, but like
they're broke.
You clearly see the
they're
downswing.
Pretty much broke at this point. They didn't add anything in the offseason.
But like, look at next year.
I know.
Like if you think they're bad, if you see the downswing right now and they're risking the rotation this year and stuff, like wait till next year.
$20 million from Cole Hamels.
There's nothing coming up in the system. So when Hamels is gone, they have no money to replace him with. Lester's a year older now and more money. Quintana's a year older, and who knows what he is at that point in time. And then I just
that's the thing at that point.
What's it going to be next
because
year?
If you traded you can't make trades to just keep bringing guys in because you traded pretty much all your prospects away.
Nobody to
and
trade.
You can't. Then you kind of designated yourself to just free agency, which we've seen how that's going. And usually when